Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce the Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Ed Rendell.
Good evening, everyone. Let me begin by thanking Arthur for mentioning the members of the armed services, and particularly those Pennsylvanians who've given so much in the war against global terrorism and Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi freedom. So far, since the onsets of those conflicts, the state of Pennsylvania has lost 194 of its sons and daughters. That ranks us fourth in the nation in this terrible toll. Since we began this year, the calendar year of 2007, 37 additional Pennsylvanians have died in Afghanistan and Iraq. The Pennsylvania National Guard has lost 39 of its members. And to keep that in perspective, you have to go back to World War II to find a time when any guardsman, one, lost their life fighting for the United States abroad. We rank number one in losses of National Guards of any state in the Union. And of course, hundreds and hundreds of young Pennsylvanians have been seriously injured in those conflicts. And as Arthur said, this is a time for celebration for all of us, and this is a wonderful weekend when we can say hello to each other 17, 18, 19, 20 different times in 2 days. And it is a time for celebration and laughter and gaiety. But as Arthur asked you to do, I ask you to keep in your hearts and minds and prayers those families who enter this holiday season with a huge dark cloud hanging over them, who have lost something more precious than gold or anything on this earth. This must be an ironic time for them as they see Americans all over celebrating and know that this holiday season will never be the same for them and their families. So please, as we go forward, understand the sacrifices that your state and your Commonwealth and its very best young men and women have made. And let's appreciate them and keep them in their thoughts. And tonight, we honor a Pennsylvanian who has fought in his own way just as strong and just as hard and just as vigorously to protect his fellow Pennsylvanians. I've had the good fortune of knowing Arlen Specter since 1965, when I became a summer intern in the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office. I was hired as a full-time assistant district attorney, and I had wonderful experiences with Arlen that were filled with joy and terror. I recall in my second year of service as an assistant DA, I was told to be in District Attorney Specter's office at 7 a.m. the next morning to meet with 7 other assistant DAs and the district attorney. Well, I arrived at 7:14 for the meeting. Not 8:14, 7:14 for the meeting. When I entered, the district attorney went around the room and approximated what each of the other attorneys would be billing if we were a private law firm, and told me just how much money I had wasted by coming in 14 minutes late. And because of that lesson, and because of the very strong and vigorous way that he imparted it to me, as you all know, I have never been late for a meeting or an appointment. ever since. Arlen had another unique way of running the office. Every day at 5 o'clock, all of us, and we started out with about 60 assistant DAs, all of us met in an empty courtroom where Arlen would ask us questions about what went on in our courtrooms during that day. And I don't care if you were a flat-out atheist, you were praying to God that you wouldn't be called on. Because it didn't matter if you had 19 cases and 18 ended with convictions and all got substantial jail sentences. If that 19th case was continued or null prost or was a not guilty, you would have to stand and explain exactly what happened. So we'd all be there praying under our breath not to be called on. But the good thing about Arlen is that as much as he could fill us with the fear of being called upon, he also filled us with a wonderful sense of our mission. And Arlen had us convinced that we, the 60 attorneys and the detectives who worked in the office, that we were literally the guardians at the gates of hell, and if we didn't perform our job, Philadelphia would slip down the abyss. And when you can imbue a group of young men and young women with that feeling, they can do anything. They can be strong and creative beyond their abilities. They can work hard to do things beyond their numbers. And Arlen did that then, and he hasn't stopped doing it since. Because of the unusual nature of Arlen's politics, he has to balance loyalty to his party, loyalty to the President of the United States, and loyalty to the people of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I can tell you, having worked with him for 8 years as mayor and now 5 years as governor, as much as he cherishes his relationship with his party and has respect for his relationship with his president, he always puts the interests of the people of Pennsylvania first. He does it with courage. He does it with honor. He does it with vigor. And I have to tell you that he is truly a champion for us. And when he faced his challenges, the challenges brought about by his physical health, he never stopped for a minute. He never stopped working for us. He never stopped thinking about us. He never stopped fighting for us. And that is the true test of someone who is a champion and as worthy a gold medal recipient as anyone in the history of this great society. So I would like to personally thank the society for honoring my friend, my mentor, our senator, and a truly great Pennsylvanian.